Hey guys, it's Retro here, and I have been miserable the last couple of days, so we are going to do some tier list videos. That's right, multiple videos. They're going to be uploaded here on the channel as we go, and I'll be spacing them out. But for now, I want to get the big stink one out of the way. This is a tier list of the best consoles. Now, please keep in mind that this is all my personal opinion and based on my experience on what I've played. So, if you want to make your own tier list, go for it. Matter of fact, tell me down in the comments, what is your S-tier gaming console? Let me know, and while you're down there, don't forget to like and subscribe because I'll be releasing these here in sequence. Probably one or two a week. We'll see how it goes. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and make this happen. PSP. You know, PSP was a good console. I'm actually going to go ahead and put it in A tier. It's actually probably my favorite portable console of all time. I still have mine. I still play it. I actually use it to run my PS1 games. It's a ton of fun. OG Xbox. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and put it. No, I gotta put it in A tier. I gotta put it in A tier because it had a lot of really good games, and it built its own brand for a first try from Microsoft, putting out a big game console like this. And what's more is you can take that library and move it up and up through the 360 and the Xbox One, etc. So, you get to keep those games and take them with you as you move forward. TurboGrafx 16. I didn't play it. Put it in the trash. PS3. PSC. I want to like the PS3, I really do, and my dad loves it. He was all about PlayStation Home back in the day, but the biggest issue I had with it was it died all the time. It always had some sort of issue. It took a lot of power to run. It was loud, and only the first release model had full backwards compatibility with PS1 and PS2. If it didn't have those issues, it would have been a great console, but it was just plagued with problems from the get. It was a wonderful, very ambitious console, but it just failed at pretty much everything it tried to do. 2600, it's going in B. I gotta respect it. I play some Atari games. I've even programmed an Atari game myself with Visual Basic. Not a console I play all the time, but one that I certainly respect for what it did. It was the first really, hugely successful home console, and it brought it to the masses. So for that, we're going to stick it kind of smack dab in the middle there in B tier where it belongs. The Switch. You know what? I'm putting it in B tier. As cool as the Switch is, and as innovative as it is, it doesn't run AAA titles. You can't play Cyberpunk on your Switch. It has a lot of really good games, don't get me wrong. I'm playing Pokemon Violet right now, and I love it. Pokemon Sword and Shield, again, I love it. Really good games. I'm sure a lot of people love, Breath of the Wild and all that, but for how limited it is, I gotta put it in B tier, man. GameCube, A tier. GameCube is amazing, and a lot of people are just now starting to find that out. If you look around at your local retro gaming shops, you're going to see a lot of those GameCube games there are getting more and more expensive. Just the other day, I went to my local retro store, and I was looking up Pokemon Coliseum and Gale of Darkness. And man, let me tell you, like hundreds of dollars for those things. It's ridiculous. Say nothing of the Mario Party games. Oh my god. I've seen some of those games go for thousands. It's absolutely bonkers. GameCube was an amazing console that didn't nearly get the fate it deserved. Didn't get the love it deserved in its time. Game Gear. B tier. A great for its time, great portable console. It ate batteries for breakfast, but it gave you a backlit color screen in the days where most kids had a Game Boy. I remember playing Mortal Kombat and Sonic on the Game Gear, or my dad's old Game Gear. I remember having a lot of fun. It was the first really portable console I got to play with. And so for that, it gets an honorable B tier. N64, A tier just for nostalgia value, man. I'm playing N64 right now. I'm playing through Pokemon Stadium. I got Pokemon Stadium 2 coming in. I'm playing the old Pokemon Yellow games on the N64 through Pokemon Stadium. Mario 64 is another great game. Nothing beats those 90s era nights of just eating pizza, sitting on the floor, playing fucking Pokemon Snap. Just the nostalgia factor. Going to fucking Blockbuster and printing out your Pokemon Snap pictures. 90s kids, let me hear it in the comments, man. Let's hear it for the N64. You know what? No. It goes in S tier where it fucking belongs. The NES machine, A tier, because, and I know I said the 2600 was the first hugely popular, hugely successful game console, and it was. But it also kind of almost killed the gaming industry back in 83, 84 with that crash. The Nintendo Entertainment System brought it back from the brink. And it almost didn't work. They released it as not a game console, but as an entertainment system. That's why it's the Nintendo Entertainment System. It saved the gaming industry, brought it back from the brink, and gave us some amazing games that we still play to this day. So for that, it gets an honorable A tier. I don't know what this is. Trash. Sega Genesis, A tier. One of the first consoles I got to have in my room as a kid was the N64. Not the N64, I'm an idiot. Was the Sega Genesis. Sega Genesis, man. Oh, dude. Playing freaking Fatal Fury on this thing, Sonic the Hedgehog games, Mortal Kombat. Oh my god, dude, my mom wouldn't allow me to play Mortal Kombat as a kid. But once I had this in my room, I got all the Mortal Kombat games. It was on, and we were playing it. The Mortal Kombat games were better on the Genesis, but I'll tell you right now, the Street Fighter games were better on the Super Nintendo. The Ouya goes in the trash where it fucking belongs. I think the Stadia just died, not the Ouya. The Ouya was fucking dead on arrival. Jesus Christ. PS1. It's goated. PS1 is goated. I don't care. We'll hear nothing to the contrary. Because it was the first Sony console, the first PlayStation, and the launch model of the PlayStation, pound for pound, was the best consumer-grade CD player in the world. So you got to play your music out of this as well. Memory cards were kind of cool. You could swap them around. If your friend unlocked all the cool characters, you could trade save files with him. I still have a huge collection of the demo discs, which themselves are a lot of fun, just for the nostalgia factor and the crazy shit they do. And you could take those PS1 games with you to the PS2 and beyond. So for that, the PS1 is fucking goated. So is my personal favorite system, the Sega goddamn Dreamcast. What a way to go out for Sega, man. They have the VMU, which was like a Tamagotchi. You could play your little child from Sonic on there. The games were amazing. Shenmue was such an ambitious title. And again, it didn't get the fate it deserved in its time. It had a great release, and it had a really strong start. But after the PS2 and the other consoles of the 6th generation came out, it kind of just sputtered and died. But in that death, the fans kind of took it under their wing and gave it new life. I still play Phantasy Star Online to this day with with some friends. I'll just hop in and we'll go kill that dragon for the 15,000th time. A lot of people still play Dreamcast games. A lot of people still make Dreamcast games. There's a whole indie scene for this thing, if you can believe it. People still make games for the Dreamcast, man. It's amazing. Sega Master System. I'm going to put it in B tier alongside its brother, the Game Gear, just because a lot of the two share kind of similar ports, because they're both Sega 8-bit systems, and you can take your games from the Master System and bring them with you to the Genesis if you had the adapter. That's right, the Genesis is one of the first backwards compatible systems. It came with a little doohickey you'd put in the cartridge slot that lets you play your games from the Master System. And for that, it gets an honorable B tier. The Saturn. You know, I've never played the Saturn, but I have played Knights, and I have played Sonic CD, which I know is a Sega CD game. Don't fucking crucify me. It had a lot of really good arcade fighters in it, so it's going in the C tier because that's about all it had, really. Like, it had some good titles, don't get me wrong, but a lot of the best titles were also available on the goated PS1. So it's going in C tier. It's not trash. Nights into Dreams was fucking amazing, and it's one of my favorite Sega games. But man, no. Game Boy, S tier. Gotta love the Pokemon machine. I kid. I say that, but that's all I've ever played on Game Boys. And there are so many other great games. I've tried to play a few of my friends' other games. I never really got into them like I got into Pokemon. There were some really good games for Game Boy. A lot of people like Super Mario Land on the Sega, or not the Sega, the Game Boy. God damn it. My brain is all over the place today. Game Boy also gave us Kirby, which was another amazing Game Boy game. And, again, Pokemon. I mean, what else do you need? That blew up like dynamite and caused a global sensation. The Xbox One, I'm going to give it an honorable B tier because, again, you could take some of your games from the Xbox and the 360 and bring it with you. But the Xbox One itself didn't have a lot of really good games. Like, a lot of the best stuff you were playing from previous generations. But it was kind of a multimedia machine, did what it set out to do. It didn't set out to be a game console, it set out to be a multimedia machine, and it did that. It was alright. So for that, we give it a B tier. Virtual Boy, garbage. We'll say no more of it. PC, I'm going to refuse to rate because it's not a game console. It's a PC, and you shouldn't put it in the same bucket as consoles. It's not what it's for. It's for gaming. It's for game. You can build a gaming rig, but you can do so much more with a PC than you can with the game console. So for that, no contest for the PC. The Wii U was trash. S tier for the SNES. SNES gets S because right alongside, I'm going to put it right next to the Genesis where it belongs because those two had some legendary battles, man. You were a Sega kid or you were a SNES kid. I had my favorites on each. Like I said, Mortal Kombat was better on the Genesis. Street Fighter was better on the SNES. But man, let me tell you, Super Mario All-Stars, and you had Kirby Superstar on the SNES. You had Link to the Past. I don't even like Zelda games, and I liked Link to the Past. And a lot of the role-playing games, they were amazing. Donkey Kong Country was awesome, and you got the Super Game Boy on that thing. You could play your Game Boy games on the big screen. It's awesome. It was an amazing console. 3DS. A tier. It was a fun console. I played Sun and Moon and X and Y on it. You know what? No. It gets S tier because it was the console that let me trade Pokemon online with people and start battling online with people. It's amazing, and I love it. I feel kind of funky putting it above my beloved PSP, but hey, man, it is what it is. PSP didn't have Pokemon, so, what can you do? Game Boy Advance also gets an S tier, just for the nostalgia factor, man. For this and the SP variant. Yeah, like, wow. I can't even tell you how many nights, coming home from high school, I would just grab a Dr. Pepper, eat some ramen, and just fucking play Pokemon Ruby all night. Dude, my overleveled Zangoose and my my Buzzkin and all that, man. Yeah, absolutely. S tier. Glorious. the Wii. Wii gets a B tier for me because it did have some fun games, and you could take your games from the GameCube and play them on the launch model of the Wii. But as far as the Wii itself goes, it didn't have very many games that I was super enthused about. So it gets an honorable B tier. PS4 had a lot of really good exclusives. I like the Crash game. It's About Time. Great game, but I never really got into it as heavy as its predecessors. Speaking of predecessors, the PS Vita. Again, it gets a B tier. It was a fun console. There was a lot that you could do with it. I modded the crap out of mine and my dad's. Most of the games we ended up playing on it, though, were from the PSP and from the PS1. And we also ran RetroArch, so we can run just about everything else on there, too. But as far as the PS Vita itself, there wasn't a lot there that we enjoyed. So it gets a B tier. Good, not great. The Xbox 360 gets an S tier just because it was the first console really to bring online gaming to the masses. Now, you could download games from the internet on the Sega Genesis and all that. You did have the modem pre-installed on the Dreamcast. That's true. You could do Xbox Live. That is also true. But it wasn't until the Xbox 360 hit store shelves that people really got into gaming online with each other and talking all that trash over Halo. For that, it gets its esteemed place in S tier. I wish we could bring back the old school Blade themes on these, because those were just peak early 2000s nostalgia. PS2. You know what? PS2 is goated. Alongside its brother, the PS1. Yeah, man, because, dude, when the PS2 came out, I was there. My dad brought it home, and he was like, do I gotta trade in my PS1 games? And the dude was like, nah, man, you keep them. It's backwards compatible. And we were like, what's that mean? You can play your PS1 games here. And they were like, what? And it was the best thing ever. And it's a DVD player, which at the time, it was the first DVD player for a lot of people. We were still transitioning during that time from VHS videotapes to DVD players. And I remember a lot of stores at that time had a PS2 as their DVD player, just to show the movies they had. Playing them on those big fatback CRT televisions. The PS2 was nothing short of revolutionary. For that, it is goated. Last but not least, we got the DS. I respect what it did. I had one growing up. It was fun. It gets an A tier. It did something good. It walked so the 3DS could run. Straight up. The 3DS perfected what the regular DS started. This thing was tanky as all hell, but it did like to die. So yeah, that's pretty much my tier list. You can see kind of a bell curve going on here. But again, this is all just my opinion. So if you want to make your own tier list, freaking go for it, dude. But tell me down in the comments below, what is your goated console? What is your all-time goated console? And what's trash? Tell me what's trash too, and tell me why. I want to hear about it. And while you're down there, hey guys, don't forget to like and subscribe for more, because I'm going to be doing a few more of these tier lists. And so with that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!